I have a beautiful story for you, and this one contains a powerful life lesson that I think all of us should learn. And the story comes from Dare to Do Motivation Stories, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I did. Once upon a time, there was a young man who worked at a factory. His mentor, an old technician, taught him to talk less and do more, and to never stop developing his skills in every aspect of the factory's operations. 10 years later, the old man retired and the young man became the technician himself. He continued to do his work with the same dedication and diligence he was taught. One day, he decided to visit his mentor. The old man could tell that his mentee was unhappy and asked what was troubling him. The young man sighed and poured his heart out. "I have been following your instructions exactly all these years, no matter what I work on. I keep quiet and focus on the job. I know I have done good work in the factory and have learned all the skills that can be learned there. But what I don't understand is that the guys who don't have my experience or capabilities have all been promoted while I'm still making as little as I did before when I was your apprentice." The old man asked, "Are you positive that you have become indispensable to the factory?" The young man nodded, "Yes." The old man paced back and forth to think, and after a while he turned to the young man. "You must request a day off, using whatever reason you like. It is time for you to give yourself a break." The young man was surprised by his advice, but the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. He thanked his teacher and left quickly to make the time off request. When he returned to work after his day off, the manager called him into the office to tell him that things did not go well at the factory while he was gone. Others encountered many problems that normally would be handled by him, and they had no idea on how to solve them. Realizing his importance, the manager decided to promote him to the position of senior technician to thank him and encourage him to keep up the good work. The young man was grateful for his mentor's wisdom. Surely, he thought, this was the secret to success. From that point on, whenever the young man felt like he deserved more than what he was getting, he would take a day off. And when he came back the next day, the situation improved to his satisfaction. So he continued to take time off often for months. One day, the young man found that he was blocked from going into the factory. Much to his shock, he found that his employment had been terminated. He could not believe it. Not knowing what else to do, he went back to his mentor to try to figure out how things could have gone so wrong. "Why did I lose my job?" he asked with wounded pride. Didn't I do everything that you instructed me?" "Actually, you did not, because you heard only half the lesson. You understood right away that no one pays any attention to a light bulb that is always on. It is only when it goes off that people suddenly take notice and realize what they have been taking for granted. You were so eager to apply this understanding that you left before hearing the second half." Second half, the young man realized that perhaps he had made a mistake. "What is the second half?" he asked. The mentor spoke slowly to make his point. "The second half is more important than the first. It is the realization that if the light bulb goes off frequently, then sooner or later it will be replaced with one that is more reliable. Who wants a light bulb that no one can count on to provide illumination?" I love the story because it's truly a lesson that can be applied in your work life, but also in your personal life. You may have friends and family that are always there for you, and because they're always there, you may take them for granted. But what would happen if one day they're no longer there? So don't wait until you lose people to let them know how much you appreciate them. And that could also be with your employees. By the same token, you may be on the receiving end, and you may be the kind of friend that is always there for people, and now you feel the one that gets taken for granted. So if that's your situation, take a step back and let them miss you. Let them realize what they have. Long time ago, I had a few friends that would only reach out when they needed something. They needed money or they needed a favor, and then I would never hear from them again. And it took me some time to realize that they were not, reliable friends. They were, that light bulb that is constantly off. So subsequently, I had to remove those friendships from my life. But this is a concept that you can apply to everything in your life. Just make sure that, unlike the technician, that you apply both sides of the success formula, because no one wants someone that is always unreliable, and no one wants to be taken for granted. So I think the story is beautiful because it goes to show you that you need a balance, right? You need a balance with people, with your work, with your personal life. And given that today is Monday, the first day of the week, let that be your theme. Every day this week, make a point to be there for people, but also to take a step back in those situations where you know that maybe you have been taken for granted, and let people realize your value. And if you're watching this video, please remember to subscribe so you never miss an episode to be inspired. And I will see you next week with another beautiful story.